But we're going to start with the paper review. Yes, why can me lose my train of thought? The Nation probe report will expose rot in CBN, says federal government. Government entices workers with wage award to stop strike. Loma shuts markets. Tomorrow is Eid Maulud holiday. 98th Court of Appeal panel sitting on 1,209 polls petitions. Tribunal win victory for Sanwo-Olu, tells Negotiations. Access Holdings post gross earnings in Q1. Okay, which story are we taking?
Okay,
I can start.
Okay, I can go first.
Go ahead, right.
So we have the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, yesterday has said that workers will soon be given wage award, but they're waiting until next week for the president to make the announcements himself. He says that sitting with NLC, they had come to, two conditions for them to withhold the strike, and one of it was the release of the detained officials of NURTW as a result of the ongoing crisis in that union. And as we know, they are an affiliate of NLC, and so that has been affected by the police. And also now the second one is the wage award, which he says, that they would do so once the president is here. Although the NLC is demanding that, the president can work from anywhere. He can just send a directive, but I guess there's a way that it's done. He says, as we know, the president and minister for finance are not in the country at this period, so they'll wait on that. But then other demands, just so that we remember the demands that NLC have been making of the federal government and why they had been threatening strike. So they said that they want to, for how to cushion the effects of the subsidy removal for that was made May 29th. They're asking for tax exemptions, allowances to public sector workers, provision of compressed natural gas buses, the release of modalities for the 70 billion for SMEs, and immediate reversal of all anti-poor policies of the federal government. They're also asking to stop the increase in public school fees, the release of the 8 months withheld salaries of university teachers and workers, as well as increase in VAT. So these are the things that are on the table that they're discussing, but they're withholding the strike now.
Let's move on very quickly now. The SGF was speaking at the 63rd Independence Day presentation, where he was talking about the plans for the October 1st. And he was saying that the Nigerians will soon know exactly what happened at the CBN during the tenure of Godwin Emefiele. According to him, the president had appointed a special investigator who began weeks ago, and he's been giving the president weekly reports, which will soon be released. And I said we have a new team also at the CBN. The Cardoso is going to be screened today, or is it tomorrow, by the Senate for confirmation, and all the other four his deputies who are also going to be screened alongside him. So the SGF was just saying that most of the problems confronted us was because of bad governance, and the present government has confronted it by what they've done so far. And very soon we'll now know from this special investigator, Mr. Jim Obaze, who has been giving the president reports, and they'll give us exactly what happened. And Nigerians will exactly know what Godwin Emefiele and his cohorts planned and did to our country. Yeah, I wanted to take the LOMA. The Lagos State Management Authority, LOMA, has sealed off Oyimbo and Alaya Biagba markets on the Lagos mainland. They said they had been giving them series of warnings. This was said by Dr. Gbadigeshi, who is the MD of LOMA. He said they had been giving them series of warnings, but they did for their improper waste disposal, just generally keeping the place untidy. So they've sealed them off, and they have given warnings to Tejosho Market, Ladipo Market, the Plank Market, sorry. Because you did the first ones, I practiced them before. You now do okay, it's okay, you're good. Oh, we get I didn't practice this one, so they've given to a lot of markets. About.
Okay. I think it's a good thing because a lot of the markets need to take responsibility for keeping their environment clean, and they would only do that when it affects their business.
Yes, now.
So if you shut it down 3-4 times, they lose money. Everybody will sit up and start cleaning up their environment.
Will come now. They will now start pushing social
point
media
fingers
and say that the government is not something.
I want to take the story of the victory of the governor in Lagos, Sanwo-Olu, at the tribunal. A series of gubernatorial tribunal are being announced. His candidate is victory was contested, which is legal for the candidates to, other candidates of other parties to do. The PDP candidate as well as the Labour Party candidate both could challenge the victory of the APC's gubernatorial election on the 18th of March. And the tribunal unanimously said that the governor's election was true, and the governor in reply...
They struck out the other guys.
They struck out the other cases that they lacked merit. The governor has come out to say it is an opportunity for more work to be done, for greater achievements to take place, that it was a long, tough process, and that they are also once again extending the olive branch to contestants to join in building a greater Lagos of our dreams, quoting him. And we're also expecting more tribunal sitting in Calabar to judge the case of Cross River State election, as well as the Delta State's reserved judgment concerning Governor Sheriff. We were looking forward to that because there's been a lot of controversy regarding the Labour candidate Ken Pella contesting PDP governor of Delta State Sheriff, and they reserved the judgment against. So we're looking forward to hearing that. These tribunals cost Nigerians a lot of money.
Yes,
like
so we need to
the tribunals cost us money. So yes, the lawyers, you are entitled to contest your and fight for your votes, but please, if you don't just play to the gallery, we would always appreciate the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, for not contesting the election. He allowed people to move in peacefully, but the governors, everybody contesting, spend so much money, and Nigeria itself is spending money. At the end of the day, we will not say there was no merit to the case in the first place. So what are the lawyers now doing?
The Punch.
Making money.
Enugu reviews document as CBN investigator submits interim report. Picture here of the national youth athletics lament poor conditions and maltreatment. Police arrest suspected Shagamu cult leader and 18 others. John Doe kicks as tribunal dismisses PDP LP petitions against Sanwo-Olu. Impeachment, Ayedatiwa sues Ondo Assembly Speaker, alleges threats to life. Strike, Labour accuses FG of delay, NLC Exco meets today. Vandals destroy 108 transmission towers, FG alleges sabotage. And Senate screens CBN Governor Cardoso, deputy today. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Vandalism, Nigerians. So they say a total of 108 power transmission towers were destroyed by vandals in various parts of the country between January 2022 and September. So the data was obtained by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. And they're giving us, you know, how this has also affected distribution of electricity in these areas. The numbers are quite appalling, like what Nigerians get away with, actually. So they're saying that 27 towers were vandalized in Abuja. That's just during this period that is under review, not, you know, all the things that we've done long in the past. And then while 9 towers were destroyed in Lagos, Kano region recorded the highest number of destroyed transmission. They said about 52 towers were destroyed there. 10 towers were shattered in the regions, Enugu, Benin. Anyway, government is calling it a sabotage, you know. They've sent engineers, they're working on it, but this affects how electricity is transmitted in our different communities. In fact, we were talking recently about Ibadan, where there was no electricity. They had to use, they said, a bulk supply through an alternate line for that community to get electricity. So what are we doing? We're doing ourselves, you know. So I'm happy that we're talking about what we as citizens have caused ourselves, you know. It's not every day shouting for government. How about you? What you're doing? How is it impacting your own community and yourself? So we need to be careful.
Okay, I was going to take the National Youth Games. So many of those who went for the games were complaining because they had to sleep on the floor in Asaba. So the games are supposed to hold in Asaba, Delta State. Complaints by athletes and coaches over the poor accommodation and feeding arrangements by the games organizers. According to them, many of them were sleeping on the floor and using their bags as pillows. There were no mattresses, using their clothes as curtains. But the Sports Commission chairman, Tonobok Okowa, had envisaged that this problem was going to happen because, according to them, the games were slightly postponed because they felt that schools had resumed. So unfortunately, they couldn't get the hostels to be used, the schools' hostels to be used during these games. Now that schools have resumed, it's difficult for them to actually get accommodation. So what they did was provide halls for them, but unfortunately those halls were not well prepared for these students. The Federal College of Education in Asaba, some other schools declined usage of their facilities as hostel for the games. Okowa said that they now promise them mattresses, pillows, and I mean the picture is really deplorable. See how children are sitting on the floor.
Yeah, some people took to X to talk about it. Someone said, if my child was selected for these games, after seeing this picture, I am pulling my child out immediately.
Yeah.
I will petition the state governor.
Exactly. So they slept on the floor. We arrived in Asaba last Thursday. They were giving beds. 4 of us shared one student. You know, it was just horrible.
Yeah, one guy lost. He performed poorly in it. He said it's because where they're sleeping is smelling. Mosquitoes are biting him.
So why didn't they just cancel the games? Because, I mean, the reason, their issue was that, listen, schools have started. Usually they would have used the hostels of schools. But now schools have resumed, so the hostels are not available. Then you cancel the games, or unless you have actually facilities to accommodate.
Postpone. You don't even have to cancel.
Yeah,
you can postpone.
it to
Another
holiday
is going
period.
in December. So
We're still reviewing Punch. What's the story? Should we move on?
No. I have a story. So the Senate is screening the CBN. They've elected Yemi Cardoso as to be the CBN governor, and today, Tuesday, there will be a screening of Dr. Yemi Cardoso to confirm him as a substantive into a substantive capacity alongside 4 other nominees that will be acting as CBN deputy governors. Of course, Nigerians have huge expectation on what he's meant to do. We are hoping for a miracle within the financial sector. The screening would also be done to ensure that Nigerians, they said, because the Senate is going to be discussing the appropriation of the 2024 budget, and so it's important that we get this done and over with. That soon after resumption, the Senate will move on to discuss appropriation of the 2024 budget, and the 10th Senate is promising they will not disappoint Nigerians. They would ensure that they do what is expected of them.
Vanguard Insecurity. Zamfara governor alleges FG in secret talks with bandits. Lagos governorship poll tribunal opposed Sanwo-Olu's victory. Oshodi Apapa gridlock. Sanwo-Olu's directive records partial compliance. FG to Nigerians, be patient with us on tough economic reforms. Strike. Federal government will soon conclude wage award to workers, says Lalong. We have over 39,526 pending cases, says appeal court president. And Tinubu has not reintroduced fuel subsidy, says APC. Okay, which story?
the Zamfara state government has been accusing the federal government of having secret talks with bandits. It says the federal government, he says that he has called for an urgent comprehensive investigation by the federal government in the ongoing secret negotiations with the bandits in Zamfara state. According to Vanguard, they tried to get Idris, but Idris, they couldn't get him. But in Tribune says, I know that they got the minister who says that he's very disappointed in the Zamfara state government for saying that they're in secret talks with the bandits. That they are not. That he didn't even comment that they have rescued some of the students that were kidnapped. He's saying that they're in secret talks. That no, they are not.
Okay.
Yeah, so we heard that a wing of the Supreme Court complex situated at the 3-arm zone Abuja yesterday was engulfed by fire. They said it started about 7 a.m. Thankfully, there are no human casualties, but of course, as we know with all fire outbreaks, they lost some files, some computers as well. But then we had PDP in response to that, reacting to the incident. They said, this fire is suspicious. But we have, Akande says that, that there's no suspicious anything here, that the fire was a result of an electrical malfunction in one of the chambers. Luckily, because they have fire extinguishers on ground, they were able to put it off. But they lost some things, documents were damaged and some things were lost, like computers. And that, the fire incident had no connection and would not affect appeals that arose from the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court.
That's good to hear.
So I think it's good that that is put out there.
So the APC spokesman, Felix Moka, has said that what Frank Shebu, who is the media aide to Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, saying that 169 billion was paid as subsidy to keep the pump price at 622 naira per litre is a lie. according to him, that specifically said that Shebu's claim that the fuel subsidy is back is not correct. Government intervention to ensure some measure of price stability and predictability does not amount to return of the ruinous fuel subsidy is to us in the recent past. The spokesman also added that in an unfledged statement outside by himself in this warped and misleading suggestions, that's referring to Shebu, that the APC-led administration was hoodwinking Nigerians by propaganda. Marcus said that Shebu's pathological and cynical flippancy, he delved into matters he clearly didn't understand or lacked the constitutive capacity to understand as a result of political traumatic stress. Oh, I didn't. Political traumatic stress disorder, PETSD. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
No,
arising from his boss's serial electoral failure. Oh my goodness. All right, so
Let's take the story of the Mile 2 Apapa Oshodi gridlock. You know, the governor went to inspect the area last Friday. Vanguard has consistently reported that there has been a chaotic situation of traffic along the Apapa-Oshodi, the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway, and there is no end in sight. But when the governor came there were promises.
There were videos.
It's
giving instructions. I want you to pack up. Leave this place.
And we were expecting immediate response, but it was partial compliance. According to Vanguard, Vanguard is situated just by that area, so they have every day. They go through it every day. They said that it was partial compliance. They stayed on one road, on one lane. They are still on the road, just on one lane, as opposed to what they were doing before, which was absolute blocking the entire axis. There is free flow of traffic. Is the special operation head, the team head, was saying that Mr. Hassan Adekoya said that it is possible to have free flow of traffic in Mile 2 if we just get people to obey the law. He said that the federal government needs to fix several failing portions of the road along their Apapa axis. It will reduce congestion, and that his team was doing all they can since his arrival to ensure that they are able to comply with their part. They are making this thing that we're taking as small story consistently over the years has caused a huge difficulty on people's lives, cost people lives, like people have lost their lives because they are unable to leave their houses within time, reduce the value of properties within that area. There's a huge economic impact if we just... Like,
the government is going there every week.
They just comply. Like, when people just block, they will block the entire road. Sometimes you want to leave your house, express is completely blocked by trailers and tankers.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. Diphtheria spreads across 105 local governments in 18 states, kills 453 children. Twist Nakeredolu deputy field. FG Zamfara government trade wars over a negotiation with bandits. Police arrest impeached Ogun local government boss Adedayo. Fire God section of Supreme Court's PDP demands investigation. Police confirm arrest of 19 suspected cultists in Ogun. And tribunal upholds Sanwo-Olu's victory, dismisses PDP and LP. Okay, which story are we taking? Should I take diphtheria? So like wildfire, the latest outbreak of diphtheria in Nigeria has spread to 105 local governments across the country, killing 453 children as of September 24, 2023. It's caused by the toxin produced by the bacteria, a vaccine preventable disease covered by one of the vaccines provided routinely with Nigerian children. Confirming the situation, this was that the NCDC had confirmed this situation. The agencies explained that as of this month, 24th of September, there's been 11,587 reported suspected cases, out of which 7,202 were confirmed cases from the 105 local governments. Unfortunately, 453 children have since died since this confirmation. Something has to be done quickly before it spreads to the whole country.
Please, the picture, that picture.
Bridge collapse on Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway. Ooh, I didn't even see it.
It's a terrible situation, and
it's Nigeria.
Yes, it is in Nigeria. A major axis that it would affect a lot of businesses and traffic. That is the Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway.
Yes.
The bridge has collapsed. Now, there were warnings on this thing. Same way there are warnings on some bridges in Lagos that we are not paying attention to. Let us deal with things in time.
So
they replied that one. The commissioner already replied that the structural integrity is not compromised. And what we saw was just a plastic that the structure. I saw her press release on that one.
Okay,
there was a crack. There was a crack, and people thought that it's going to collapse. She now said they've checked it. The structural integrity is not been compromised. It's fine.
Everybody do your work in time.
Plastering work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your bridge.
Yeah. We'll just
That
look for
is
another
all we can take on front page review. Yeah. Stay with
Aye
us.
wants to leave.
We'll be right back.
Nobody wants that.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.